October 7th. So we are 7 days in to Victober. And I realized that I didn't really have time last week to vlog anything. I was also finishing up some reading, so I thought I would just give you a little update today, and then I'm hoping that I can do some vlogging this week and talk a little bit more about my Victober. So last week I was finishing up some of the September reads that I had not yet finished. One was See What I've Done by Schmidt, and I'm also still working on The Paying Guests, which is my audiobook right now by Sarah Waters. So I'm hoping to finish that for sure this week. I think I still have 6 hours left. It's such a long audiobook. And then once I'm finished it, I will be starting the Oscar Wilde collected stories. I am about 200 and a bit pages into Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell, which I am currently buddy reading with Tanya from The Sampler Girl, but she is not really liking it, and so I'm totally going to give her permission to bail if she wants to, because, you know, there's no point in reading something that you're not enjoying. So I will continue on, though. I do like it enough to keep going. It's a really interesting, it's interestingly put together to me. It is very light. There's not a lot of underlying nuances going on, which is fine. And I really like how she's developing the characters, even though I'm not particularly fond of any of them. But in terms of a study of the way people thought and acted in Victorian times, I find that pretty interesting. She has a light writing style. I find there's some humor in there, and yeah, I'm enjoying that. And I just started this morning reading Eminent Victorians by Lytton Strachey. I read the preface, the foreword, the introduction, and then I'm starting on the Florence Nightingale essay part of that book, and I really like his writing. So I don't know if I wasn't planning on reading the entire book, but we'll see. I'll definitely finish the Florence Nightingale section, and then I may be compelled to read the other essays as well, because his writing style is quite appealing to me. He writes in a kind of conversational tone, but there's enough substance in there because these are biographies of Victorian figures, and so far his way of describing Florence Nightingale's life is very, very engaging. And that is it. I'm also reading a book of poetry, but this book of poetry is not part of Victober. I actually did kind of go through my plans, my reading stats, and like what I had achieved up until now, like in the last week I think I did this, and I realized that some of the goals that I had set at the beginning of the year to read a certain number of certain types of books had not been achieved. And so I tried to go through, count how many I had left to do, and then include those into my TBR and list them so that I know what I want to finish. And so this other book of poetry, I'm over halfway, is just contributing to the fact that I wanted to read 12 volumes of poetry this year, so at least one per month, and I'm trying to accomplish that goal as well. So I think it's teaching me a little bit about how to plan my yearly reading, which is going to be an interesting discussion for December/January, when everyone's coming out with their reading goals and TBRs and reading wrap-ups and things like that. Just evaluating how realistic it is to expect yourself to read a certain amount of books with a certain criteria, because I think I usually really enjoy making TBRs, and they've certainly helped me read a lot more than I ever have this year, but they also detract from your overall ability to jump onto readathons or jump onto read-alongs or whatever might be happening or occurring on BookTube that you just want to join into, but you didn't know about in January when you set your plans. So do you want to just change your plans, or do you want to fill them? So I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself to reach these goals. If I don't, I don't. But I did want to write out the books that fit the criteria so that I could decide to read them if I so choose. So that is my update about Victober today, and I will check in again later on in the week with some more thoughts, and I hope you are having a really great Victober so far. Happy Friday! I feel like I've been a horrible vlogger this week because my life right now is just a big run-on sentence of stuff. So, yeah, I think I'm going to give this vlog another day or two and then give you a final check-in. But I did start The Collected Stories by Oscar Wilde yesterday, and it is amazing. I have to try to search. I didn't catch the name of the first story. I'm listening to it on audio, and I didn't catch the name of the first story, so I hate to talk too much about it without being able to name it. But it is a story about Lord Arthur, who has his palm read at an aristocratic party and is informed by the palm reader that he is going to murder someone. And he becomes obsessed with it to the point of actually making himself become a murderer. And it is so well written and entertaining to listen to, so I'm really enjoying it. And I am further along in the Florence Nightingale section of Eminent Victorians, and I'm further along in Wives and Daughters, and I'm enjoying all of them. So even though I'm not being a successful vlogger, I'm certainly enjoying the Victober reading experience. So that is my check-in for Friday. I'm going to sign out here for now. I'm going to do some reading. I'm going to try to relax. This is one of the few weekends that I do not have to work in some capacity until Christmas. So I'm going to try to take advantage of that and rest and enjoy myself. So I will talk to you again soon. Hello. It is Sunday afternoon. I've done some art related work today. I have walked. I finished the audiobook, the first short story in the Collected Stories audiobook by Oscar Wilde, which was called, I believe, Lord Arthur's Murder. And it was really good, 5-star story. So very excited to keep going with the audiobook and listen to more of the stories. I just really enjoy everyone says how witty Oscar Wilde is, and that story did not disappoint in its wit and its humor and its irony and its playing with the ideas of fate and destiny, and I really enjoyed it. I would recommend that story highly. And I am at chapter 23 of Wives and Daughters, and on track to finish it this month, and despite it being super long. And I'm going to read a little bit of Eminent Victorians, the Florence Nightingale section right now. So I think I will end this vlog here. I would say that the pace of October is making my reading and filming a bit of a lower priority, but I do have plans to read The Lady of the Shalott this week by candlelight. Dave is going away on a work trip, so I'm going to have some quiet evenings once the boys are asleep. So I'm looking forward to filming something nice with that. And I will be checking in again soon with more of how Victober is going along. And I hope that your Victober is going really well. I'll talk to you soon.